Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. My name is Elvira, or you can call me Vera. First and foremost, before I get to the update on the whole job situation, my second to last video was about being unemployed, not having had a job for 3 months, and just kind of dealing with being on unemployment, that feeling of like, I felt like a loser. Before I get into that though, just wanted to say happy Virgo season to all my Virgos out there. I'm so excited. I am a Virgo. So yeah, it's our time, but it's always our time. Anyway, I'm just kidding. So so I do have an update, and I will preface this by saying that it's not the update that I thought I was going to give, because I thought it was going to be like, hey everyone, guess what? I have a new job. Everything's amazing. I'm not unemployed anymore. That's partially true. Partially. Now, I ended up getting offered 2 contract roles, right? One was in fraud, the other was unrelated to fraud. So the unrelated to fraud contract role was going to be basically till like the end of the year. It was like 21 bucks an hour. So it was kind of like whatever, but it was going to be easy work. So I'm like, okay, it's something, right? I'm not going to be that picky. 21 bucks an hour is like, yeah. And the fraud role was only going to be a few more dollars. I think it was like $24 an hour. So not a whole much of a difference there. However, that was going to be a fraud role. Now, I had interviewed for the job that we're going to be talking about today. And that job, I did know, was going to only pay 20 bucks an hour. I am no one to, demean any job by any stretch of the imagination. I've had customer service roles. I have pushed carts. I am not above anyone or anything. However, in this economy, but it was a full-time permanent role. It is a full-time permanent role. So, I was contemplating, and I'm like, I'm so sick and tired. That was one of my biggest irks, that I kept going from one contract role to another, going a year and a half, 6 months, just employed, unemployed, employed, unemployed. And I was just getting so frustrated. And I'm like, I need stability. I am so tired of feeling like every 6 months I'm looking for another job. I'm tired. My resume is crazy, it's more unstable than, I don't know, than my mental health. Anyway, that's kind of funny, but it's kind of not, because this has a big thing to do with why I've been feeling all over the place. Being jobless will really mess with your mental health, and that should be another video in and of itself, because I've been through the ringer. And I was only unemployed for 3 months. I can't even imagine people who've been unemployed for 6+, 8, a year, going on 3 years even. I've seen LinkedIn posts where people are talking about being unemployed for so long, and I'm so sympathetic, and I can't imagine. So the job that we're going to be talking about, I will call, the current job. So I was okay, debating. I was kind of keeping the temporary contract roles kind of right there, just in case. If worst case scenario, okay. Lo and behold, $20 an hour job calls me and says, hey, you got the job. And there's a few things that happened that should have been red flags for me. The fact, not even just the fact that it's 20 bucks an hour, as a fraud role, which is that's insanely entry level. That is customer service. You just started in the job field, I come with over 4 years of experience, plus if you add all the additional stuff that I know how to do. So I had the interview, and I kind of got the sense that I was maybe overqualified, but I didn't think that way because I don't think of myself as overqualified. I think of myself as just bringing great experience. I always think of it as a plus though, you know, if I bring a lot of qualities and experience, then they might want me. So anyway, and they even told me, they're like, oh, you'll hear back from us in like a week or two, you know. They did not get back to me like super right away. Like they really pushed it till like Friday. Like they were like on a Friday, hey, you got it. Like I almost felt like I was like, did they get like that many more interviews for this like, you know, role? I don't know. Anyway, they offered me the job. I was hoping for that job. I wanted that job because I wanted stability. I want stability. And so, you know, I turned down the contract roles. I take on this job. And point to them is that they posted that the job was $20 an hour. Now, I'm not going to say who they are because this is not about them. This is not about doxing the company. This is not about blasting them. It's really not. It's more or less to kind of express the situation I'm in my feelings. But so I take that job and I accept it. There was a lot of things along the way that now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, this should have been a good reflection of your life moving forward here. Now, I was going to start on a Wednesday. I started on a Wednesday. So yeah, I did take the job. I'm in there now. I am still technically in the training because it literally just all happened. So like 2 weeks ago. I get the laptop the day of. They had not even shipped it. They didn't know anything. Like they did not know anything. They were like, oh yeah, it should be getting there. And I'm like, who, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I'm waiting for you to tell me what to do because I haven't heard anything from anybody. So I get it in the middle of the day. So I basically like just got like a quick introduction with like supervisor, lead, whatever. Next day, my schedule, I shit you not, and it has been that way since, back to back to back to back to back shadows. As soon as I log in the morning, shadow. Second hour, boom, right back to back, shadow, 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 a break, shadow, 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 all the way through. If I don't say, hey, I need to go to the bathroom, I have to wait. Like, and I do, of course. Like, I'm not like, oh, well, I don't get a break. So like, no, like I do, but they didn't even think to break it up. I'm in a meeting and the other next person who I'm shadowing is already pinging me, like starting the meeting. I'm literally like, you know, I have people on Teams, like my supervisors, like, hey, did you get this? And I'm in the middle of trying to learn what the job is. And I'm like, and so I'm looking at her message and she's just, hey, can we meet at your time? Which is my break time. And I'm like, sure, yeah, we can meet at that time. But like, if we meet at that time, then I won't get a break or I'll get a shorter break. Like, don't you see the problem? Like, I can't start already complaining and saying, hey, like, that's my break time. But like, she doesn't see the problem with that. And that to me is an issue when they're like, oh, that's okay. And it's like, for who? For who is it okay? You know, like, I'm a grown woman. I'm gonna need my 30 minutes. Like, I'm sorry, but no, absolutely not. And so it's been like that. And like when they started me, I would like start watching someone do something and they were already halfway through it. So I was like, I don't even know what's going on. I'm just getting like bits and pieces of it. And so there was like a lot of moments of just interruption. They're sending me messages on the side and I'm trying to like watch what they're doing because I'm new to this. I've never seen this system before. And then they're asking me questions. Hey, can you try this? Hey, and it's like, can you just put yourself and me in one meeting together to do all the technical stuff, please? Because this is I get very overstimulated. I have I have ADHD. If I get overstimulated, I'm just like, I don't know where to look anymore. And then I'll just start looking at my phone, you know, like, so, that's been very frustrating. You know, it's been very frustrating. And so when I was hired, two things that I did know, $20 an hour and the schedule was going to be Tuesday through Saturday. So I'm sacrificing a weekend day, but you know what? I convinced myself, I was like, hey, look, Elvira, you're going to get Mondays off. You can book appointments, you know, Mondays will be your new Saturdays, whatever, or Sundays, you know, Sunday will be Saturday and Monday will be Sunday, whatever. So I'm okay with that, you know. I am. I'm not really like, that's not like the worst case scenario. The money is really, really crappy, but I convinced myself that as long as I work there, you know, I'll get raises over time, I'll build stability, you know, I'll be there, I'll earn my place. Like I'm willing to work from the bottom up, right? Like I'm willing to put in time. I'm not expecting someone to just say, here you go, here's, you know, a CEO salary just because. Like I know that and I'm okay with that. But the training schedule was 8 to 4 my time. I'm in Central Time. And I was told that the permanent schedule would be, you know, Tuesday to Saturday, 8 to 4. Okay. This company is in a state that is in Eastern Time. They are an hour ahead of us. So 8 my time is 9 their time. 7 my time is 8 their time. So when they said 8 to 4, they didn't say 8 to 4 your time. They just said 8 to 4. I asked for clarification. I'm like, hey, I noticed that it says training 9 to 5 and then regular will be 8 to 4. What does that mean? Because right now I'm still working 8 to 4, right? Like, so where's the difference? They're like, oh, well, it's going to be 8 to 4 our time. This is my supervisor. She's like, hey, I heard you were asking about your schedule, like your hours. It's going to be 8 to 4 Eastern, which is 7 to 3 your time. She's like, is that okay? And she literally asked, is that okay? I wish I had spoken up and said, no, that's not okay, because I was told 8 to 4. I was never specified a time. And if you knew you were hiring someone from a different state, why wouldn't you say like, hey, you are an hour behind. We need you for this time. Is that going to work with your schedule? Because guess what? I do have something that I do before 8 o'clock. I do have things that go on before 8 o'clock. Those are things that are important for me to know, because now I have to rearrange my schedule. Now I have to make sure that I'm able to meet my responsibilities, commitments, and necessities outside of work before work starts. And she asked me on the spot, I was like, is that okay? I'm like, I don't want to be problematic, right? So I said, yeah, that's fine. Big fat lie, but whatever. So I said, yeah, that's okay. Even though what I wanted to say was, no, that's not okay. Why didn't you tell me that when you interviewed me? Why didn't HR say anything? Why did no one think to say anything? Like, why didn't anyone clarify, we're Eastern, you're Central, time difference, just understand 8 to 4 means 8 to 4 Eastern. No one said anything to me while I had accepted the job already. So it's like, it's a little too late right now. Like, I literally let 2 great opportunities go. Maybe not great, but still. I let something else go. And you couldn't even have the courtesy to tell me. So that was like one of the biggest things, right? So I'm kind of feeling it, because now I have this feeling in my stomach, like, ugh, you know, like if I make a shitty choice and I'm the one that made it, I'm the only one that can be blamed for making the shitty choice. If I did not have a choice, if that agency was taken away from me, that bothers me. And that's where I'm at. That's where my feelings are at right now. So fast forward like a week and a half later, today is Monday, Labor Day. And so on the schedule under the time off request, it said, you know, day, holiday, right? And so I'm like, oh, okay. So when HR called me to offer me the position, she was like, oh yeah, by the way, this is what we offer. This is medical, dental, blah, blah, blah. And we have 11 holidays. So in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, that's pretty standard, 11 holidays. Christmas, your Thanksgiving, the Eves, whatever, Labor Day and all that stuff. So Labor Day is on Monday, and on Friday I'm talking to my team lead, who's like, oh yeah, and on Monday they'll set you up with blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, I'm like, Monday's Labor Day, and he's like, yeah, he's like, we don't get holidays off. And I was like, oh, is that not one of the holidays we get? or actually I said, is that not one of the holidays that we get? Because I'm thinking in my head, maybe Labor Day is one of like the not recognized ones. Maybe they only do like the major ones. Like some places just started recognizing Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Some places haven't yet, or like Juneteenth. So like I understand if maybe they're not accepting those yet, or there's like, you know, that transition. Maybe Labor Day is one of them, whatever, right? Like I understand. Each company makes their own rules. So, he's like, oh no, we don't get holidays off. And so I'm like, oh, you don't? Like, oh. And then he's like, yeah. He's like, ever since I've started working here, I haven't gotten a single holiday off. And he's been there for like 4 years. So I was like, oh, okay. And I'm just like, I got really quiet because I was like, you know, and he starts blabbing about something else. And I'm like, I'm sorry. It's just that I had to. So I had to say it. I was like, I'm sorry. It's just that when HR offered me the position, they mentioned 11 holidays. And that's something that I would have liked to have known prior to accepting this position, because it makes a difference. This is something that I should know to be able to choose. Do I want this? Is this going to work with my lifestyle, with my schedule, with my family, you know? And he basically, like, I mean, he was like, oh, yeah, you know, I'll look into that for you. So I get a message from my supervisor, which is like his superior. And she's like, hey, I heard you were asking about holidays. So we're a 365 full coverage team, you know. And then she sent me like a little snippet of like how the holidays work. So basically on holidays, you don't get it off, you just get paid OT. And I'm like, well, that's really great. That's really awesome. If I want that, you know, if I wanted to work a holiday, that's awesome to know that you would offer me extra for working it. But that should be my choice. And also, I'm not asking for holidays off because I'm the queen. I'm asking to get exactly what I was told when I was offered the position. I'm not asking for special treatment. And so I was like going back and forth thinking how to respond to this to be professional. But like, I ended up saying something along the lines like, okay, thanks for, you know, providing the information. I was given incorrect information because it's the truth. I was told the wrong thing, and that's not okay, you know? That's just not okay. And human error happens. She'll probably say, oh, HR didn't know. But you know what? The first conversation I had for that specific role was with HR. So HR knew what department I was going to be working for what role. So that's not really an excuse. That's just a cop out, in my opinion. And mostly everybody on that team, mind you, everyone on that team is young or doesn't have children, or like, you know, except for like one person. And they're all, I don't think they had like previous fraud experience. I think this might have been their first, like, you know, push into it. So they made a comment, my team lead made a comment saying like, oh yeah, but you know, like we can, like if you request it off, we try to work around that. It's like, there's like 6 people on this team. If I want every holiday off, that's not going to happen. If everyone wants every holiday off, that's not going to happen. So realistically, that's not going to work. So I'm not going to lie. I'm really disappointed. I talked to my fiance about it, talked to my mom about it. I even talked to ChatGPT about it. I was like, this is the situation I'm in. Now that I know what I know now, that they weren't honest about the holiday. They lied about the holidays, that they weren't honest about the schedule, the 8 to 4 thing. Now those $20 an hour is starting to really feel like a slap in the face. The $20 an hour Monday through Tuesday through Saturday schedule is on me. I'm going to take that L. The other stuff I'm not going to take. So I say all this to say, do you agree do you think it's a good idea for me to now go back to looking for another job and basically just stay here temporarily until I find something better? Because I am not going to stick around. I can't. I'm sorry. I don't like being lied to. I can be flexible and I'm willing to do things, but not when I'm not told, honestly. And I have a feeling I'm not the first person that jumped ship, because one of the people on the team that I was shadowing said, "Oh yeah, when I was training someone else." And I have a feeling that this is probably not the first time. So what do you think? I come to you guys. If anyone has any suggestions, what would you do in my situation? Would you leave immediately? Would you stay until you get another job? Mind you, I already told unemployment that I found a job because I was all happy about it. And now I'm like, not very happy about it. And, but my plan is to stay here for now because I do need some money. I cannot go back to being broke again, even though $20 is like basically damn near broke. What do you think? What would you do in my position? Would you even stay? Would you just suck it up and stay and tell me to stop being a baby? Maybe. I kind of feel a little bit that way sometimes, where I'm like, oh, here I go quitting. But like, no, I'm not good with that, you know? So, if you watched all the way through, please tell me what you think. Give me your suggestions. I really need some advice and help. I would love for people out there who are maybe in the same position as me or have felt like that, being lied to by a job so soon on. What would you do? I will read your comments and I will take everything into consideration. Yeah, I feel a little bamboozled, but I think right now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to look for more jobs, but I am definitely, I'm not feeling good about it. So it's not the update I wanted to give you guys, but it is an update nonetheless. I will keep you posted on my job search in the meantime if I find anything. Wish me luck. Pray for me. Thank you.